Hey, this is Mr. Ng going over the Precalculus quiz number 1 from P.1 to P.3 version A, taken August 29, 2018. Question number 1 is 4x squared, 4xy squared, all this to the negative 3 power. I did this problem in two ways. Correct answer you can see there is C. You can distribute the power rule to every exponent, so negative 3 times 2 gives you a negative 6. Y to the negative 6 goes downstairs. X to the 1, so if there's no number, you can put a 1 right there. Negative 3 times 1 is a negative 3. X to the negative third goes downstairs, that's x to the third. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. 4 to the negative 3 gives you, this goes downstairs, and 4 to the third power is 64. So the answer is 64, x to the third, y to the 6th. Second way you could have done this problem is just in the very beginning, take everything in the numerator, because it's in the parentheses to the negative 3 power, put that in the denominator. When there's nothing left in the numerator, you can put a 1 there. And then you just do the same thing. You can go ahead and distribute. Or you can also represent that everything in the parentheses is written 3 times, and you can just multiply. Question number 2, expressed in scientific notation. Notice here I have a very small number. Small numbers mean you're going to have a negative exponent in the very end, so you can cross off B. That was a common distractor, because the correct answer is D. So here all I have to do is just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm trying to get a number between 1 and 9. So scientific notation 1.30002 times 10 to the negative 8. Or in your calculator, that would be 1.3002 e to the negative 8. Your correct answer is D. Remember, for multiple choice, I'm not grading your work, but it makes me suspicious if you don't have any work and correct answers. Question number 3, find the center, HK, and radius of the circle with the given equation. So here I have x minus 2 squared plus y squared equals 9. If you take this and put parentheses for the y value, and put a 0 there, and then I write the formula above it, and you can see that this is an x, this is a minus. Therefore, your h value is a positive 2, and your k value is 0. And if you make 9 3 squared, you'll recognize that your r value is 3. And that would be choice B. Question number 4, the answer is D. I'm going to combine like terms right here. Remember, on one side of the equation, your like terms, you're just using the math operations. 13x minus 12x is 1x. You have the minus 5. Here, combine like terms. To go across the equal sign, you're doing opposites, the inverse. So add 5, because that will equal 0. And here you have x equals 19, which is choice D. Question number 5 says, if one factor of 21x y third minus 15x squared y squared is 3x y squared, what is the other factor? So if I took this and I break it down into factors, 21 can be written as 7 times 3. Y to the third can be written as y times y times y. Negative 15 can be written as negative 5 times 3 times x, and y times y. So there I'm circling. Once you have something in common, that's called a common factor, you write down the outside. 1x, 1x, 1x. 2y's, or y squared, are in y squared. So they already told us that this was one of the factors. That means the other one is 7y minus 5x, which is choice C. D, what is the best classification for negative 4? Well, it's a rational number. That's the biggest family. And then it's also a real number. And also it's an integer. Integer refers to the negatives. Right? There's positive and negative numbers. Those are the integers. It's not irrational because there's no decimals. It's a real number and an integer, but it's not a whole number. Whole numbers like the counting numbers. Rational, yes. Real, yes, but you could have added integer. So on the top was a mistake. You should be 1 point for your first and last name, 1 point for circling, 2 points for every multiple choice question, and the front side was out of 14 points. Turn to the back side. Make sure to show all your work, box your answers. Question number 7 for version, I think this was A. I didn't grade it, but I'll go over it. The reason why I didn't grade it is because on the other version, I didn't grade number 7. There was a mistake. So here I distributed. Don't flip the inequality sign. I'm going to get like terms together, so I subtract 12x, put that underneath on the other side. I want to move this over, so I add 10. That equals 0. 12x minus 12x actually equals 0, so you're left with 7 greater than 0. Remember, I don't flip the inequality sign. You only flip the inequality sign when you divide or multiply by negative. 7 is greater than 0. That is true all the time. All real numbers is your Algebra 2 answer. And your pre-calc answer is infinite many solutions. Question number 8. Find the exact distance between E and F. Exact means a fraction or a square root. Rounding to a certain decimal place means you have a decimal. You look at points E and F. That would be right 2, up 3. F is left 3, stay. Here's my formula. You got 2 points for just writing down the correct formula. D equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. If you put in just do your substitutions, your x2 value is negative 3 minus your x1 value, which is 2. And then over here, you have y2 value, which is 0, minus, in this case we got lucky, it's a positive 3. Now here, some students, I saw some crazy things happening. You cannot distribute the exponent because you have pluses and minuses here. You can only distribute. Notice how here these are all factors by multiplication, so there's no pluses or minuses here. So negative, and then you're just doing the order of operations, PEMDAS. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. Common mistake is somehow negative. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. Add those together, you get distance is the square root of 34. Remember, 2 points if you wrote down distance formula, 3 points if you substitute and you're simplifying, maybe made a mistake. Maybe you rounded here and put that into your calculator and said something like less than 6. Another way to do this problem, which I think is easier, is using the Pythagorean theorem. Basically, from these 2 points, you're going to make a right triangle. You can also go in this direction if you wanted to. And here I have one leg 3, and this leg is 5 by counting. Substitute those in. Square them. Take the square root of both sides to get rid of the power of 2. C equals the square root of 34. And you'll notice that's pretty much the same. Question number 22. Have the keyword or, so I'm just going to bring that down. Added 2 to both sides, that equals 0. 4m less than or equal to 24. Divided by 4, 6 is greater than or equal to m. Now here, when I flip the inequality sign, the only reason I'm doing that is so that the inequality sign is on the left side. M is less than or equal to 6. This side, subtract 5. Negative 3m is less than or equal to negative 18, divided by negative 3. Flip the inequality sign. M is greater than or equal to 6. Then I can graph that. Color code that for you. Solid circle, meaning you're including 6 and going towards the left. Or m is greater than or equal to 6 going towards the right. Visually, you should, we've talked about in class that the word or means only one condition. This region would meet the one condition. Here would meet the one condition, And over here meets the one condition, therefore the answer is infinitely many solutions. Notice how it says solve and graph an interval notation. You got a minus point if you left your answer in inequalities. And your graph an inequality. So the interval notation would have been looking like this. So let's box that in red. This would have been your answer. Let's use some test points to help you. Let's say you pick 5. 5, is it smaller than or equal to 6? Yes, it is. Is 5 bigger than 6? No. But remember, I only need one check mark because it's this or this. If I pick 6 itself, 6 is not smaller, but it is equal to 6, so that is true. 6 bigger than or equal to 6, it is equal, so it's true. Pick 7, 7 is smaller than 6. Nope. 7 is bigger than 6. Yes. You only need one check mark. Notice how all of these regions is a solution, therefore it is all of them. If you got up there, I think I gave you at least 2 points. Let's just say you got this is your answer, all real numbers. I give you 3 points. So just solving the inequality doesn't give you the full credit. Question number 10, clearing the fractions. Notice my fractions are 2, 3, and 6. You want to find their lowest common multiple. So if I count by 2s, 2, 4, 6. Count by 3s, 3, 6. Count by 6, 6, and 12. You'll recognize that your lowest common multiple is 6. So if I multiply both sides by 6, excuse me, then here I'm distributing the 6 to each of these terms inside the parentheses. Remember, you make a fraction by making a 6 over 1. Here you get 12 over 3, multiply across, and reduce, you get 4x. Negative 12. I'm multiplying by distributing the 6 here on both. So 6 times 3/2 x, that's become 18 over 2x, or 9x, and that becomes just 1. If I subtract 4x from both sides, this will equal 0. You're left with 5x, subtract 1. You're left with negative 13. Divide by 5. That equals 1. X is equal to negative 13 over 5. If you got negative 2.6,
you don't love math? What's wrong with you?